In this video, we're answering the question about whether we should work out before or after breakfast for weight loss, because it makes sense to try to work out at a time when you can burn the most fat. Health Explorer Neil Fellows here to get healthy and fit, stay healthy and fit, and do it in a way that's unique and natural to you. Please subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of all of our latest uploads. Today I'm going to be having a conversation about whether we should work out before or after breakfast for weight loss. Joining me to answer that question is someone who knows all about that. Sarah Taylor is world champion bodybuilder, and sometimes she needs to lose weight fast for competitions. She was once overweight and needed to find out about losing weight the hard way. So let's jump straight in. Sarah, today we're talking about should we work out before or after breakfast for weight loss? But before we get into that, tell us a bit about your weight loss journey, because I think it's really relevant to what we're talking about here today.
Okay then. Yeah, well, my weight loss journey started when I was 40. But here's the thing: I've always been sporty and active. Like for my whole life, I was always sporty and active. So my whole identity, I was tied up with being the fit chick. You know, I always considered myself to be a fit, healthy, active person. And at the time, even at 40, I was playing tennis 4 hours a week, cycling everywhere because I don't have a car. So when I separated from my long-term relationship and I decided to go and climb a mountain, and I went and had a fitness assessment at a gym, and to be classified as obese when I thought I was a fit, healthy, active person was just mortifying. You know, here I was all of a sudden I was 40 and I was single and I was classified as obese.
Yeah.
And really it was such a traumatic identity crisis, if anything. I literally didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
That it's just like no, this can't be happening. If I'm 40 single and obese, nobody's ever going to love me again. I can't have this. It was just so awful that I had to become the fit chick again. So I just hit the gym in a big way, straight away, to get fit to go and climb a mountain. And what I did with my diet, the key to my story is I did not go on a diet. I really started paying attention to the physical sensations that I was having around food and the foods I was eating. So I was really paying attention to my habits and my lifestyle. So I started paying attention to foods that made me feel energetic, and I ate more of them. And I paid attention to foods that had made me feel a bit sleepy or sluggish or foggy in the brain. And I just kind of steered away from them. I did not cut out alcohol, but I did cut it down. So the combination of paying attention to what I was doing and making little changes to my habits with exercise, that really was the key to my weight loss. And I lost 25 kilos by the time I climbed the mountain. And from there, I fell into depression. That's when I hired a personal trainer. And within a few weeks, the combination of, I guess, more structured exercise and still having these good habits in place really turned me around. And I got even fitter than climbing the mountain. And that's when I got into the bodybuilding. And then all of a sudden, at 42, that was at age 42. And then by the age of 50, I'm 21 times world champion. But the key to my success in the bodybuilding really is the fact that I had the eating habits in place before I even got into the bodybuilding. So for me, it was easy because the discipline you required for the training for the bodybuilding, as well as the discipline you required for the food, I already had the food discipline in place.
Yeah.
So it actually made it relatively easy for me. And that was the key. It was changing my habits, not going on a diet.
Changing habits, not going on a diet. Love that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Question we're asking today is it best to work out before or after breakfast for weight loss? What are your thoughts on this?
Okay. My personal choice is I never train on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
I love my breakfast. I'm the breakfast queen. In fact, or maybe I'm just a hobbit because I have breakfast before I train and then I have second breakfast after I train. So yeah. So if you're talking to me, breakfast is essential. But there are a number of keys. By eating in the morning, and particularly if you focus on a protein and fat-based breakfast, then you're going to set your metabolism up. You're going to sort of fire up your metabolism, fire up your energy. And then if you're training, your body's got something to work with. It's got energy to work with. So you're more likely to have a much more energetic, intense training session. And if you do that, then I guess the intensity and the extra intensity you bring to your workout, it can translate into burning extra calories. Of course, if you're training in a fasted state, like you would be, you've been asleep overnight, you haven't eaten anything, and then you go straight into training, then really the only source of energy your body's got is your fat stores. But the other thing it also has access to is your muscle. Now, muscle is made of protein, and protein breaks down much more easily, or is broken down more easily by the body, and it breaks down to glucose, which is the same as what carbohydrates break down. So your body's preferred source of energy is carbohydrates. So if you, or glucose, I should say. So if you train in a fasted state, you're more likely to get muscle atrophy because your body will break down protein to access glucose more readily than it does the fats. So that's a very key point. But that isn't to say that you shouldn't train fasted. There's definitely a time and a place for it. And really it's a personal preference. So I would experiment with it. Me personally, because I'm lifting heavy weights, I need some food. I have tried training fasted, and quite frankly, my workouts suck because I've got no energy.
Yeah. It's interesting. I remember one of the interviews we did before, you'd recommended just having some, I think, ginger, lemon, and some honey in a small sort of amount of water before I go for a run. And having tried that for quite a while. Yeah. What I really began to notice is that on the run, when I used to train fasted, I would come towards the end of that run and I really was starting to labor and struggle. But with the just that extra boost that you had suggested, it was just enough to get me through that last piece of the run with energy, which was a nice transformation. And it started to take off time from my runs as well, which was amazing.
Great. Yeah. And look, when you say breakfast before training, I'm not suggesting you sit down to bacon and eggs and toast and scrambled eggs. I'm not suggesting that at all. It just literally needs to be something. I mean, it could just be half a piece of toast.
Yeah.
It could just be, like you say, the honey and lemon drink with a boiled egg. Mm. It could be a half a banana. It doesn't have to be, we're not talking much here. Just something to give your body that little bit of oomph and something to work with so that you're fueled for the workout that you're going to do.
Yeah, sure. If people want to train on an empty stomach, how would that affect their ability, let's say, with something like weight training?
Well, you'll probably find fairly quickly that you just don't have the energy to lift the weights, or you don't have the intensity to lift the weights. Now, when fasted training can work very well, and actually this is very much a bodybuilding thing. A lot of the guys particularly will do fasted cardio in the morning, but they do there's a very specific one they do. They don't do high intensity stuff such as CrossFit. They don't do high intensity aerobic kind of exercise. They do low intensity stuff. I mean, it's just walking. They might just walk. So when people talk about fasted training, they might, the best one for fat loss really is just walking, incline walking, hill walking, walking on the flat, walking on a beach. Walking is great for fat loss in a fasted state, but you wouldn't want to do a CrossFit workout in a fasted state, because you would, like you found out with your runs, towards the end, you just die.
Depleted,
You just run out. Your body is running on empty. So if you do want to train fasted, you're much better to do the low intensity kind of activities, walking, swimming, cycling, maybe. You definitely won't want to do high intensity bursts kind of activities.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense. So I'm talking with Sarah Taylor today about whether we should work out before or after breakfast for weight loss. If you're finding this topic really helpful, please do give us a thumbs up, because it really does help the channel. Sarah, how does working out then on a full stomach, how is that going to really help somebody?
Well, then you've almost got the opposite problem then, because you've got a lot of food in your stomach, your body diverts all of your blood and your energy resources to your digestive system to try and break it all down.
Yeah.
So really your body needs to focus on breaking down all of that food, which again means you're not going to have enough energy in your extremities, your arms and legs, to do, I don't know, a CrossFit workout, for example. And it'll just weigh you down. You just won't feel very good at all. You could even get nauseous. You might even just sort of throw up, because you've got a big amount of food in your stomach, and then if you're jumping around and doing a lot of vigorous activity, your body might just sort of kind of overreact, and you might end up throwing up.
Yeah, I can relate.
Generally, your body is when you're digesting the food. Again, if you are going to have a big meal and then do exercise, again, it needs to be low intensity. So walking after a meal can aid fat loss.
Got you. Okay.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Walking after a meal can actually aid your digestion. But again, a heavy, weight resistance training workout or high intensity workout, that's not ideal after a big meal.
Yeah, got you. I can relate to what you were just saying there, actually, because when I did my first 10K city run, it didn't start until 10:30 in the morning, and needed to have breakfast and then sort of leave home, get into the city, park up, and then find where I was going to be before the run. So I was thinking to myself, I want to eat something that's going to sustain me. So I was like, okay, what could that be? So I ate some porridge. So then at 10:30 in the morning, the run starts, and we're probably about 1 kilometer into it, and I could really feel the weight of the porridge, and it was awful, but did have plenty of energy to finish the run with. But that bit in the middle between 1K and 9K, I think wasn't pleasant.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if you are going to have a big meal, choice of food is very critical.
Yes,
I mean,
thank you.
Should have talked to me first, didn't you?
Exactly.
Because porridge is such a slow digesting food. That's why porridge is great. It's a great food, for breakfast, because it keeps you fuller for longer, because it's so slow digesting. If you are going to have a bigger meal, you definitely want to go for the sort of the higher GI foods that digest really quickly.
So
and actually have minimal fats as well, because the fat slows down the digestion.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, Sarah. We always like to end on a challenge. So based on what we've talked about today, if there was one thing that you would suggest that people could take away and try for a week or for a day, what would that be?
Well, look, I would actually encourage people to try training in a fasted state, i.e. not eating beforehand, and then compare it to how they feel training in a non-fasted state. In other words, they eat beforehand. Now, if you don't train or work out first thing in the morning straight after sleep, you can train, try not to eat at least 4 hours before you train, to get that sort of to approximate a fasted state. Okay. If you eat within an hour to an hour and a half of a training session, that's considered to be non-fasted. Okay. But I would encourage people to try both states and see how it impacts their workout. I would do the same workout each time and see how the state affects their workout. And then they'll be able to work out what, they prefer to do, because it is a personal choice.
Okay.
There's actually a third state. So you can train fasted. You can train fasted, which is not eating anything at all. Non-fasted, where you have a reasonable meal. You might have a sandwich or something, or you might have had a salad for lunch an hour and a half earlier. And then there's the kind of interim bit, which is where you have a tiny little snack. It might just be half a banana and a boiled egg.
Got
and
you.
then just compare and contrast how you feel and how your workout intensity is.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Always appreciate your time and your insights. Each week, I ask our experts to leave us with a challenge. It's just an idea. It's something that we could try. If we enjoy it, we can stick with it. If it doesn't work for us, we can throw it out and just keep looking for something else that can work. I'm going to be taking this week's challenge. You can see my findings from this challenge in our challenge roundup video, which is a monthly summary covering all of the challenges our experts have shared. To get that video and all of our latest health and wellness uploads, including interviews and reviews, subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified whenever we post. And if this channel can help your friends and family, please share it with them too. If you want to get proactive with your health, Total Wellness Club are developing health quests over at questly.life. Join while we're developing the site and get access to health quests that immediately personalise your health. You'll get to identify which of 10 critical health categories need your attention. You'll be able to track your progress, and you'll be able to help us develop the platform too. I'll put a link in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.